I mentioned before how I almost quit gardening this summer. Not because of the heat, not because of the pest, but because of garlic. Now, I know it's a little dramatic because there's no escaping gardening, but I planted over 170 cloves of garlic in October, and I took them into the soil. I covered them up with the little blankets, whispered to them, and by May, I was expecting stalks and stems, but I was stalking the Facebook groups and I realized that everyone else had green except me. The truth was glaring at me. Every single one of the garlics had died. I got about three of them and then the rest had all died. So I remember standing on the balcony, just like dirt underneath my fingernail, thinking, what is the point of all this? What do I do here? Do I wait? Do I hold the faith, trust the process, or do I repurpose the space? Now, luckily, I didn't give in to the perimenopausal rage or the sadness that hit me. So, I was able to plant and repurpose the space. And now the garden is flourishing. So that's always great. After that, I vowed that I would never plant stupid garlic again until I learned what garlic actually does for a woman's body, especially during perimenopause. And now I'm reconsidering because garlic's boldness that announces itself and lingers on your breath or on your hands and in your kitchen for days, that very boldness is exactly what makes garlic one of the most well researched herbs for perimenopause and especially for supporting your cardiovascular health, for antioxidant defense, and for healthy blood sugar. A 2023 review published in the Journal of Herbal Medicine found that supplementing with garlic will improve your hormonal balance, especially for women in perimenopause because it supports the liver detoxification. Now, this helps your body process and eliminate whatever estrogen that you used. Now, when the estrogen isn't cleared properly, then you get the mood swings and the bloating and the heavy bleeding. So garlic helps your liver do its job. But the bigger story is the cardiovascular. Because after 40, right, estrogen, which protected your heart for decades, begins to decline. Your cardiovascular levels now go up, right? The risks are now rising. So, a clinical study of postmenopausal women that take about 80 milligrams of aged garlic extract daily, they took it for about 12 weeks, and it showed that it significantly reduced both their total cholesterol and their LDL cholesterol, right? So, in supplement form, 80 milligrams of garlic extract can help reduce your cholesterol and improve your heart health. Now, in food form, if it's not going to be exactly the same, but if you crush half a clove about 10 minutes before you eat it, you can put it in some honey or however you can stomach it. Again, it's not identical to the supplement, but you're still getting some benefits and heart healthy boosting. Now, look, I still don't know why my garlic failed, right? Maybe it was too wet, maybe it was too cold, it was too compacted, maybe I loved it to death. Garlic needs drainage and space, and maybe the balcony was not its happy place. So this season, I don't have a lot of garlic to process, as you'll notice in the video, and I'm not going to have a lot of it stored in the pantry. But I did make oils with the second herb, and I made some tea with it. So let's get into sage, the cooling herb. Now, every time I say sage, I start thinking stuffing. But before you start thinking about stuffing, let me stop you. Because Salvia officinalis, common garden sage, is one of the most studied herbs for menopause for all the symptoms worldwide. Another 2023 systemic review of 4 clinical trials published in the NIH database found that sage significantly reduced both the frequency and the severity of hot flashes in perimenopausal women. Now, all 4 of the studies had the same result, right? Another trial using a standardized sage extract named, I think they were called Menosan or something. And they showed that within 4 weeks, women reported measurable reductions, not just in hot flashes and night sweats, but in mental exhaustion and irritability. what? Now, the that shows that you are improving your psychological symptoms, right? You can take sage as a tea, right? You can prepare it with 1 teaspoon of dry leaves and steep it covered in a cup for about 10 minutes. You can take it as a tincture, which is it's steeped in vodka or some other really strong proof alcohol. You can also grow it on your balcony or in a pot, right? Now, sage is very forgiving. I started some recently. Unlike garlic, it doesn't demand, perfect drainage or conditions. It just grows, honestly. So it's there, it's silver, it's steady, and it's waiting for you to just go ahead and grab it. Now, I will say sage tends to dry up your breast milk. So if you are still, breastfeeding, or if you are still planning to breastfeed, talk to your doctor about it. Now, in a past short, I mentioned the mineral thief, phytic acid, right? Now, let's discuss the antidote, which is stinging nettle. Now, I'm going to put the name on the screen because big wood no bust nobody job one. No, most people pull this plant out as a weed, but it is quite restorative. Here's what perimenopause quietly takes from us: the iron, calcium, and magnesium. Our menstrual cycle, whether it's getting heavier or more irregular, is drawing down the mineral reserves, right? If you're tired in a way that sleep doesn't fix, or if your bones are aching, if your hair is thinning, minerals are a part of that conversation. Now, nettle is possibly the most mineral dense plant you can grow or forage in North America. It contains bioavailable iron, calcium, magnesium, potassium, and silica. It's essentially a multivitamin that grows in ditches, but don't go out and start grab any old plant now, right? Grab a bag from the store to start, and you'll notice how green it is. Now, in case you're wondering, fresh nettle stings. It does. And that's the formic acid that's in it. But drying it or cooking it neutralizes the sting completely. What you're left with is one of the most nutrient dense foods on the planet. You can grow it in a container. It thrives in partial shade in a pot. So if you don't have a lot of space, you can still grow it. So to use these three herbs, let's start with garlic. Garlic raw is the most potent. Half a clove minced or crushed in honey or olive oil if you can stomach it straight. Let it sit for 10 minutes after you chop it or crush it, because this activates the allicin, which is a natural sulfur compound that helps lower your blood pressure and reduce your cholesterol, right? Now, I'm not here to tell you that herbs will necessarily replace your meds, but they can certainly boost your immune system to help your body fight back. Now, to use nettle, you want to infuse the dry leaves. It's not a quick steep, it's an infusion. So you want to take about an ounce dry nettle and put it in a quart jar. Pour some boiling water over it, close it, let it sit for about 4 to 8 hours, and you can drink it throughout the day. Now, it does taste like grass. It tastes very green and very mineral rich, so buckle up, all right? Now, all of these plants can be grown in containers. You can plant them in your small backyard, on a windowsill, on a balcony. They don't require a lot of land, right? They just require that you show up and that you're interested enough to want to do it. So, I didn't rage quit my gardening. I repurposed the space into a thriving urban garden. And I'm watching my herbs sprout their leaves, and I'm happy that I took that choice. I brace for the nettle as it teaches me that the things we call weeds are sometimes exactly what we need. Now, our bodies are in perimenopause, but they're not broken. They're just transitioning. And plants, especially these three, they were designed to walk us through that transition, right? To hold our hands, and they grow while we're sleeping. They just wait. They're patient in a way that the world is not, especially for women. Now, if this spoke to you, share it with a woman who needs to hear it. And subscribe if you want more evidence-informed herbal wisdom for this season of your life. No, don't subscribe if you're not going to watch the videos, because I'm getting a hard time with this. All right. As usual, be blessed, be balanced, be blissful, be good to yourself, and be good to each other. And be blooming. Bye.